everybody, welcome to Kats Creations live on a Friday night where, as promised and as requested, we are making the Christmas tree wreath using the unique in the creek, what they call a triangle board. The reason why it's not called a Christmas tree board is you can make a lot of different things with the triangle shaped board, which, let me give you the dimensions really quick of the board just by itself. It is 20 inches tall by about 16 inches at its widest point at the bottom. So I think finished product should be roughly about 24 inches, so it'll fit in the box just fine. A 24 by 24 by 4 or by 6, whichever one you happen to have on hand. You will need, here's the kicker, 65 pieces of 10-inch mesh cut to whatever color combination you want to do your Christmas tree wreath. So if you want the white with silvery, white with iridescent, or like today we're actually doing the evergreen, and I'm doing it with a higher foil mesh. It's a little thicker than the thin ones you can get, and it runs about $4.95 on Craft Outlet. You will need 2 rolls to complete the entire wreath. Then however you want an embellishment, whether you want to use balls, Hobby Lobby in their miniature section has a great selection to pick from if you don't want to go with the standard red, green, white, and gold. They have just gold, they have just white, and then there's a ton of other color selections. And then you can pick Christmas packages if you want to put in there. You can add the garland. That miniature section at Hobby Lobby gives you an awful lot to do if you really want to embellish it good. The lights are battery operated with a remote. So here's the remote, and they've changed this. So Home Story, when I first started ordering the lights from them via Amazon, they had like 10 different light settings, which were kind of cool. They've since kind of ixnayed that one out, and now they've made it multicolor. So this comes with 13 different colors. They can, and it's 3 different functions. So it can stay on, it can fade, or it can jump. And then when you pick the fade or jump, it's going to go through all the color selections and either fade into those colors or just immediately go right into the colors. That's what the fade and jump is. There's also a function to dial down the brightness. So you can make them brighter or you can dim them down. This also comes with a built-in timer. So it's 6 hours on or 18 hours off. And you can order them from Amazon. I think I posted the link to them earlier today. They come in a 2-box set, so you get 2 sets of them. They are 16.4 feet with 50 LEDs, and these are rated for outdoor and indoor use only. So if someone happens to leave it outside and it rains or it gets wet, the lights are perfectly fine. They're designed for outdoor use if you need them. Then we're going to add a ribbon to it. We'll add our tie, and we should be pretty much just about done. Do we have anyone joining?
We do. We got Darlene, Terry, Melody, Jennifer, Marcel, Karen, Michelle, Kathy, Audrey, Gail, another Debbie, Yuli, and a bunch of other gals. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. So, housekeeping. If you like this design and eventually want to make it, share it to your page. It's easier to find it on your page than it is to filter through mine and find out, okay, what week did you do that? You can also go to my YouTube channel, which is KatsCreationsNMore. It's easier to find my live Friday night lives or anything I've done live in the public. They're easier than it is to go to my page. If you want to be notified when we go live, make sure you do the like and follow. You need both to automatically get the notifications sent to your phone. So if you happen to be browsing on your phone doing whatever, you'll get a notification if you set up notifications on your device that we are going live. And I think we went live 2 times this week. I think 2 times.
Yeah. Without
like, it was just like a spur of the moment custom order, so we just decided to do the custom order and show you it live. If you're new, let us know. We'd like to welcome you, number 1, for joining us tonight on Friday. And let us know where you're from. A lot of times we You can make connections here through Facebook Live and find out you have a crafting buddy fairly close to where you live. And that's pretty much about it. So you guys ready to start? I'm super excited. So it's all gonna be about the board, right? I did this 3 years ago without the Unique in the Creek board. I actually created one from an old Wreath stand and added wooden skewers to it. I think we still have that video somewhere, but thankfully Unique in the Creek has made it so much easier for wreath makers to kind of evolve the process, and now we don't have to create our own frame. So what you're gonna wanna do, you can order these from Amazon. With Amazon, however, you have to bulk order them. So you're buying 5 boards at a time. So if you're okay with that, you're gonna be making a whole bunch of them, that might be a better way for you to go. Michael's does carry them sold individually. Theirs are $16.99, I believe, and then you can get like a 20% off coupon. So that'll take a couple dollars off. You can order them directly through Unique in the Creek's website, and there's probably a couple other online vendors that sell the what they call a Triangle Unique in the Creek board. So what you're going to want to do first off is there's 2 ways to look at the board. There's one, and it's kind of hard to show you because it's kind of imprinted or embossed on the board, but there's ones that actually show you numbers of the rows, and then on the back there's the Unique in the Creek logo where it's made. One side is the back and one side is the front, although you could go either way. The way that it's designed is if you get it to where you see the numbers on the board and not the Unique in the Creek logo, when you go to tighten your pipe cleaners, they will actually pop down inside the holes and give you a flush look to, should you lift up the little branches and look, they lay more flat on the board, which is always good. So I use 6-inch zip ties. That is about the perfect size. You can go the 8-inch if you need that extra, you know, length to tighten these down. 4 inches are not going to work. It's just going to go all the way through, and you're not going to be able to manipulate the branches through the pipe cleaners as well as if you have just a little bit of play in your zip ties. So it's kind of like prepping it so that when you make the branches, you can just automatically come in, put them in your section, zip tie it down, and you're good to go. So we're going to actually finish adding the last 4 zip ties to the top of this one.
There's a Priscilla said hi, first time live. Priscilla, you are the best.
Thank
So
you,
welcome,
Priscilla.
There's a Janet, hi from Mars, Pennsylvania.
Hi, Janet.
And there is a, if I can find it. Huh.
So here's the nice thing is they won't pull all the way through.
Oh, there's a Wendy from Morehead City, North Carolina. So welcome.
Welcome, ladies. Thank you for joining us. So I put these in just enough to hear the click, the little ratchet sound. Don't pull them any tighter than that, because then it just makes everything else so frustrating to try to put your Deco mesh pieces in. So it goes in here really nice. And we'll also add our, there we go, there's the clicks. We'll add our hanger to this now, so it won't be something that we forget later. So it's kind of set up at the very, very top to where you have 2, 2, and then you have 1. The one up here you could use if you wanted to. If you find that you're like a little thin on the top and you want to add a couple more branches, you would just basically put your zip tie in the hole and then to the outside, in the hole to the outside. But I use this for my bow, and I also use it for my hanger. So my hanger is just going to be just regular 5/8 or 7/8 inch ribbon. And I'm going to measure this to about 10 inches. You don't need it super long because, as you can see on the one behind me, anything lower than that is going to keep, you know, it's going to be the equivalent of the door handle almost. So I'm going to take this.
Thank you, Penny, for sharing.
And we're gonna go, we want the knot on the inside. I want as much of the stuff to be pretty and flush on the back. So we're just gonna go ahead and put our knot on the top. Just like so. And then that way when we pull it down, we have our hanger here. So we're all set. It's just, sometimes if you forget and you just get into the habit of, you know, building the wreath, you might forget that point. It's not an, you know, a huge thing to stop and take time to put it on. You can even use pipe cleaner. I'm trying to think. You could probably use a zip tie. I just like something that looks a little pretty and a little bit festive. And then that ribbon came from Joann's 2018. Okay, so before we can start, because we're adding lights to this one, put batteries in your lights and test them to make sure they work. So as you can see, this goes from red to green to blue to a yellow, and it's kind of like a yellow green, and it's like a yellow blue, and then it's like a teal, and then it's kind of like, yeah, and then it's going to go a little bit darker blue, and then you're going to get into purple, kind of like a purple red, and then like a reddish blue, and then there's white. So the fade is what I was saying. You can see the colors will kind of dim and then just fade, and it'll go through a cycle pulling all the colors. Jump just goes immediately changing colors like a light switch, and then has an on and off switch. It has the timer, and then like I said, it has the ability for you to lighten or darken how bright it is. So if it's a little too dark or a little too bright, like you're putting it in a bedroom, you might want to dim it down a bit, and that's where the remote gives you that ability to do that. So I'm going to untie, and then this is where you're going to want to stretch the whole thing out. So I'm going to try, and I'm hoping that this will undo perfectly. And I'm just going to stretch this out on the floor, because you need, it's 16.4 feet. And it never fails. There's always going to be one spot where, God forbid, somebody twisted it a little bit different. Let's see if we can do it this way. Look, we're so close to just being done. I'm just afraid it's gonna, if I pull. Nope, perfect. Okay. So, what you need to do is you're going to need to thread this all the way through all the zip ties. And so, I already did it to kind of figure it out how it would go. So what you're going to do is take your length of lights, and you're going to go all the way up the inside. So here's where the pipe cleaners are also, or zip ties are also going to help, is they're going to go ahead and it's just easier to do it. Yeah, I tried to go, okay, well, let's just go halfway. I'm like, no. It was such a nightmare trying to pull it and then keep, you know, figuring out, okay, well, how much till, when will I get to the end? So you really want to get it down here.
Connie, the lights are called Home Starry.
Yeah.
Home Starry from Amazon.
So if you just type in battery operated fairy lights, this is generally what you're going to get. Okay, now I'm going to go back down through here, but I'm not going to pull it too hard because it'll just pull everything out. So we're going through the first couple ones. Section, right? Yeah, and then as it opens up, I'm going to go to the next section. So you're going to kind of double up on some rows. This is where having them all pulled out. is helpful. And you don't want to pull too hard. So I'm just going to kind of wrap mine around the top. Otherwise it pulls your zip ties down. And you don't need the zip ties. They have to stay where they are to get the other pieces in there.
And you're going in the third row?
Yeah, well, third hole. You just kind of like will judge, like where does it need to go? Like these ones are going back up in the same one. This will go back in here.
Carrie, that's good too, only if you can fit the zip ties in with the lights. She said, I put a set of lights that has little bulbs that fit right in the holes from the back.
Oh yeah. That would be good if you're not using the holes for, trying to see why this won't stuck around my cabinet. That is the only place on my cabinet it goes right into the wood seam. Like this. We're going back up. Okay. Okay. Same thing. We have to get rid of 16 feet. So it's just a little bit of math. And now I'm going to start going through the middle hole once I get through the first two.
At 16 feet, I don't remember how many lights. It was like
50 lights.
50 lights?
Mm-hmm. 50 LED lights. Okay. Now I'm going to go in to the next, to the next, to the next. There's actually 9 sections at the very bottom of this. So we're trying to get it to run up and down the length of our form about 9 times. Okay. And I'm starting to go to the middle. Where there's 3, I'm in the middle. And then where there's not, I'm just going to the next of the outside 2. Remember, don't pull them too hard. And then we're going to go back down. Let's go back to the middle. Now we're going to the second, down here. Trying to make sure I'm hitting all my rows. Sometimes it's just handy to have it wrapped up at the top, so you don't pull. Okay, now. So this is why when customers go, so can you add lights? The answer is yes, you can. It just takes a bit. We're going to go around the outside of this one. And we'll go back down to the outside. Outside. Here. And now we're coming up.
Maybe if you do, it's Facebook. I don't have an issue on my end as far as logging in or out. So it could just be a Facebook thing.
Okay.
She says she's having problems logging in and logging out. Freezing.
Yeah.
So I said I used that form and used a pine garland.
Okay.
And ran it up and down and then decorated it with lights and stuff. Came out so pretty. See, that's a good idea.
Exactly. So now I'm going to take this and I am going to zip tie the excess together because I don't need all the excess, and we're going to actually attach this to the back when we're finished, but at least I have this set and so it's ready to go. And again, just to make sure the lights are all working, so we're good. Okay, now we're ready to start putting in all those little pieces. If you're worried about the lights, I can tell you that as you're adding your pieces, their pieces are going to go on top of the LED strands, so it's going to keep the LEDs intact. Plus you've already got, once you zip tie them, each one of them is going to be zip tied in a different section 65 times, so they're not going to go anywhere. So here's the technique. So you take your 10-inch Deco mesh pieces and you cut them to 8 inches, so 8 inches wide. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go from the top corner, see, we'll zoom in,
Yep.
to the bottom, and it's not going to be a perfect fit, and you don't want it to be a perfect fit. The only thing we're trying to achieve here is the perfect point, because you need the points to be on your tree. That kind of gives it the illusion of, you know, tree points. So once you've met them at the bottom, you're going to take your finger and go straight up from that and kind of stretch it out. And then you're going to take this and you're going to fold it so that your tip comes right back down to your tip. And then you're going to fold it again. So you get your point, and then this folds on top of each other. And then you kind of get this, like, it's like a weird diamond shape almost. And then you're going to gather the points.
It's like a napkin fold.
Kind of. Okay, so this is the folded side. We want to make sure that we're always putting the folded side down into our wreath form. So we're just going to add this right in here. I make sure that my light is set right beneath that. And then I will tighten my pipe cleaner.
And make sure you don't cut the light.
Always make sure you don't cut the light. And then just, you can do it when you finish the whole row, or you can do it as you're going. I usually do it as I'm going, so I'll pull up the extra pieces and just kind of snip off that corner. But what you're trying for is points. So perfect points. It's not you're trying to make your wreath pieces look any like funky way. So sometimes you're going to get like a weird lopsided piece, and that's okay as long as you got the point on the end and you're holding the rest of the gathering material together. You shouldn't have any fraying happening. So I'm going to show you this about 4 times, and then we'll just fast forward to one that's pretty much all done except for the top 4. So we come from the top.
You always start at the bottom row, right?
I always start at the bottom because you're layering on top. If you start at the top, you're going to constantly be lifting them up, and your whole goal is to keep them as flat as possible. So it's better to just layer on top of rather than lift and then try to work the one underneath. So remember, it kind of looks like this. So you kind of have a little bit of an overhang here and a little bit of an overhang here. So that's okay. It's not supposed to be perfect. So just go from the middle straight up, and then don't kind of like, you want to make sure that you're folding. Sometimes it wants to just kind of roll, kind of prevent it from doing that by holding it and just keeping that tension on there, and then folding it again. And see how we have a point? And don't worry if it does this versus that. We're going to take that and gather that all together anyway.
Yeah, it's all going to be hidden.
And here's our point. And so we go into our next section. And I kind of pull it up to where maybe it's like an inch, inch and a half in there. And then just pull your zip tie down. You just want to make sure that your points on the bottom are even. They don't have to be perfect because Christmas tree points aren't perfect either. They have different types of branches. So I'll do this 2 more times for you guys, and then we'll do more on the actual wreath. So just remember, you want them to look pointed, not rounded, or as pointed as you possibly can be. So it gets challenging when you get, you know, you're at the end of your Deco mesh roll and they're more curly, but I try to use the curly ones kind of in the middle because the weight of all the other ones next to it and on top will be there. So remember, we're folding and bringing that point down and then folding, and so we have a little point, and then we're just kind of gathering this up, always making sure we flip it so that the fold is fold side down. And then just put it in, tighten it, trim this off, should have my trash can open, and then we're just going to snip this off, just like that. So what do you guys think? Do you guys have any questions?
Hi, friend. Yeah, they're just watching.
Okay. So, one more time, and then we'll, if you guys don't have any questions, we'll go ahead and move on to one that is, like I said, it's done up to about here. So it's kind of like, you don't want to watch me do this. How long did it take me to do that? About an hour and a half.
Hour and a half, yeah.
Because I'm just too particular. You know, if my points don't look right, I pull them out and redo them. And always make sure you got a good point. So that's all you're striving for. You're not going to get a perfect point. It's going to kind of be somewhat rounded, but you want it as pointy as you can.
Thank you, Priscilla. She said you're a great teacher.
Thank you, Priscilla.
You're in a great help and a great pair. Thank you.
So snip. You could, I think when Steve did his, he waited until he was finished with the whole row and then just would go through and go snip, 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 you know, and then just cut all his pieces. It's whatever works for you. You can mix and match like a light and a dark green, just to vary the effects. So I think we'll do one more.
Do you have enough to finish the other one?
I have my 4 right here.
Okay.
I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. I do now. Let me make sure. Yeah. Okay. So, do you guys have any questions? Do you guys want to see it one more time? I'll let you guys decide. If so, we'll just move on to. Okay.
Somebody just asked what their pad asked. Are they cut 10 by 10? Nope, they're cut 10 by 8.
10 by 8.
So it's 10 inch deco mesh cut 8 inches.
Yep. And then you can take your zip ties once they're secure and just pop them in that hole. Yeah. And then kind of that's what it looks like from the back. So all you're going to see is just the little zip tie sections on there. Okay. And you'll always be wanting to lay them flat because when you do your next row, it kind of comes up. Next row after that comes up a little bit more, and it's like it'll all lay flat because we're looking at it flat and we're seeing up and under. When it's laying like this, it lays flat.
Kathy, it is considered a high foil mesh. It's not the premium foil mesh though, but it does have the thicker foil through it.
Yeah, this is like 1 every 4 rows, and the high foil, no, it's 1 every 4. It's in every 4th column. There's a thick band of foil. But if you get the high foil one, it's in every one. So that would look great too. I like using the metallics because at night and during the day they look really well on a door. Okay, no questions?
And this is from Craft Outlet. I would get this deco mesh from Craft Outlet, right?
Yeah.
And yes, we did cut it with the wood burning tool, Carol.
Yes. Just to prevent frays. Although the way that we're folding it, we're basically holding all the cut edges up under the zip tie side. And then we're also laying anything that could potentially come undone or in contact is under the back side. And then as we get further up, that's never going to be touched. You only have a little bit of play on the bottom. Right. Okay. Cool. So we will just take this one and set this one aside. So I will finish that one later. Okay. So.
And with the magic of the camera.
With the magic of the camera. Da, 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 da. There we go. Okay. So here's my remote. So I'm going to put my my hanger on. So I'm going to do that. So what you're seeing is I have done every row except the top 2. So every row has been done. And you can kind of play with it. It has play in it. So, you know, if you don't want to see the outside corner, you can, you know, pull the ones around. You can stagger them in whatever way, shape, or form you want. Yes, this does have lights. So lights have already been run up. It's a little hard to see, but you'll see the ones up here that are lit. It looks better at night. Like we just go in the bathroom, shut the door, and you're like, oh, okay, we're good. So because this is so thick, you don't see it, but the lights are in there and they're on. So I'll turn this off And let me zip tie my ends, and then we'll finish this one up. So let me pull these in so that this will all be contained. A little extra section. I want to make sure I have enough, because it's going to get zip tied to the back when I'm done. But I want to make sure I have enough length to pull. Don't pull too tight. Okay. Okay. So we're going to finish the last 4.
You just want to turn off lights still, or you want to leave one?
Oh, yeah, they're back on again. There we go. They're off. All right. Back to the technique. So 8-inch piece, 10-inch piece of Deco mesh cut to 8 inches. So when you bring it from corner to corner, remember, like I said, it's not going to be even. Don't try to match up the ends, because it's not a perfect box. So just stretch it out. Get your fold in. And fold.
Yep. You want that top corner where her fingers at to be at the corner.
Yep. And then you're just going to kind of bring that all together. Make sure, fold side down. I had so many of them, I had to keep telling myself, fold side down, fold side down. Because I have to cut them and start all over again. So I pull that up and through. And then I'm going to zip tie that down. And snip that off. And I'll grab another piece. So see what I'm saying, how it lays? So I've been doing this the whole time. That just because it's a habit, you know, you're like, wow, that's awful fluffy. But that's the way it's supposed to be. Okay, so corner to corner. We're going to stretch our finger straight up. We're going to fold and bring that back to center. You're going to fold. And like I said, see, sometimes it doesn't make for a perfect section, but it doesn't matter. You're just going to gather that all together anyway. Flipping it over to the back side. And pushing this in. Making sure all my pieces of Deco mesh are in. And zip tie that down. And then I'll come back in and carefully, so I don't cut my lights, cut the tips off. And then we got the last 2 pieces to go.
Yep.
Oh, there was 4.
Gail, what's in it takes 65 pieces, so it's roughly a roll and a half to 2/3.
What is that? Because
you get about 45 pieces on one, and then you need 20 pieces on the other. That's your 65.
it just depends on how accurate your 8 inches are cut.
Yep.
So you only need 2 rolls. You'll need 2 rolls, period, to finish the design.
And Libby, the reason why she's doing them 10 by 8 is because you want the points to be a little bit skinnier. So you don't really need 10 by 10. You're just kind of wasting that extra 2 inches of Deco mesh.
Yep, there's no need for it. And this fold gives you that point look on the wreath.
Yep.
I keep jettisoning these everywhere. Okay, last one.
That's a good idea too, Betty.
What's that?
She said when you're stringing lights, you could always use Scotch tape to kind of just keep it in place.
And tape it down.
See, so everybody's got great ideas to share.
I thought about that, but I was like, too lazy. I'm running out of time. I gotta put these all together, otherwise I won't have anything finished by the time we go live, and I'll be building the whole thing, and nobody wants time to watch that much. Everybody hook up fast forward button. Okay.
It's like a cooking recipe. You show them start and show them the final product.
Yes. Once it goes into the oven, we pull it out of the oven, and voila, it's cooked, right? So these are why the 6-inch ones work perfectly. And don't worry, like I said, about the sides because everything covers perfectly once everything's in. So let's trim these because I can't see the very top part of my design, which I'm going to need to put my little hanger in. Because see, I forgot. I should have done it before I put those pieces in, but, and I'm sure someone will do it too. It's not a major deal. We will take this. Let me go ahead and put my hanger on. I thought about doing this even in the, what is it, the jute, the sage and tan, the one that Hobby Lobby came out with, just to make a rustic kind of country, mountainy kind of wreath.
Wouldn't it kind of look like it would be like half dead?
I don't know.
Because it's green.
I said I
beige.
thought about it. I didn't do it. Yeah, it could be. Maybe that's a bad idea. It just looks so pretty. I was like, oh, that would look so nice. Just to do a little bit darker. So, there we go. Pull that in. That's going to get covered by my bow anyway, so I'm not overly worried about that. We're there. So, this is what I'm saying. We don't need to have it go completely at the top. The OCD part in me says I need one. I need one here. You could put the one in there if you want. If you wanted to, you would just do your zip tie. So like I said, from the center hole to the outside, and you could put that extra one in. But if you look right here, it lays perfect with the bow the way it is. So it's not missing anything. Okay, let's make our bow. Do you guys have any questions at all about how to put that together? It's super simple. The longest will be putting all your zip ties on the board, and it'll be cutting all your pieces and then folding all those pieces one by one and putting them all in. After that, it's like, cool, we get to decorate the tree, which is really what we're doing. Okay.
Hi Janine, no problem. She says I'm gonna have to watch the replay. And
no worries.
Kate, the form is called the Unique in the Creek form. You can find it on their website, or you can find it at Michael's, I think Amazon. So it's called Unique in the Creek. And this is a triangle board.
I was trying to think if Joanne's had it. I don't think so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine, since this is primarily green, I'm going to do a bow with the plaid, and then I'm also going to do it with just solid red, just to give it, and I pulled a bunch of different ribbons. This is what I do. I have a green with the glitter, and then this is where it's like a color changing bow. So it goes from red to green. It's kind of weird. So, we'll do the lame, and then these are just a 4-loop bow, and they're fairly small tails because it's just meant to be at the top. So we don't want to go super big. So let's dovetail our end first. So I'm going to do red on the bottom, and then I'm going to bring the plaid up to the top.
Yep, Craft Outlet also sells the boards.
Oh yeah. That's why I said I don't know how much all the other places sell them for. So that was our dovetail cut. And then what you can do is, you know that everything is going to stem from that center hole where we added our ribbon. So if you use the ribbon as a guide, you can go about that long. I think is about where I want it to go.
Looks like about 7 inches, maybe 8.
That one's actually going down
a little longer, yeah.
The third, which is right where it's hitting it. It's right on that third row. So let's go 8. Let's just do 8. Okay.
Amy said, I love making these Christmas trees on these boards.
They're so much fun. This takes a lot of, like I said, a lot of prep time. But you can easily, if you have them all done, if you weren't adding lights, it goes much quicker. So my loop size, I'm going to keep these right at 4 inches. So, and we're doing 4 loops total with each color. So I'm going to pull these out and then make sure they're in. You can go you know, two loops, and put 4 colors in here. It's entirely up to you.
Thank you, Peggy. Thank you, gals. They're all giving tips on everybody who sells the boards.
Oh, yeah. So it just depends on if you want to buy them in bulk and get a better price,
Yes.
or you just want, you know, I just need to get the board so I can get this done, so I can make it. You have a wide variety of options to pick from. Okay, so dovetail again, wire the edges together. You're going to go from your fold right to your point. And this is red lame. This came from Craft Outlet. It's my favorite ribbon to use at Christmas time, Valentine's Day, 4th of July. Trying to think of all the other red holidays.
Labor Day.
Well, that's
Red,
patriotic.
white, and blue, yeah.
Yeah. And then we're going to do the same thing with this. This came from Joann's in 2016. Eeks. So we're going to bring this one up a little bit. It's not going to be as long. So we'll do this at 7. Because if you look at the bow behind me, the tails are shorter. And then we're going to do 3.5-inch loops on this one. Just to bring that in. And I'm getting down to the last of this ribbon. That's why I pulled out a whole bunch of other ones. I'm like, oh. I really wanted more of this.
Yep, and as Kat was putting in the layers, I was cutting the Deco mesh for her.
Yeah, he was. He was like, how many pieces? Almost 65. So yeah.
She said you don't have that much longer.
Okay, part 2. Did you guys get a chance to go and get something to drink? So yeah, it's a broadcast issue with Facebook today. So we're picking back up with me adding the bow. I haven't fluffed it. I've just gone ahead and created it, and we're going to be adding this to the top of our wreath. So I just did my pipe cleaner. We're going back down into that same hole where our hanger is. That's why it's good to put your hanger on before your bow. And we're going to go ahead and twist that.
Back on, everyone. Apologies. Good old Facebook.
Facebook should apologize.
It should.
It's a Facebook issue. Yeah. That's what I was telling Steve. I'm like, we could let the Mevo keep recording and nobody would see it until we post the replay, and then everything's all back together again. This is kind of weird. So I'm doing my fluff on my actual board. So I'm just pulling all the tails down to the bottom, and then pulling all my loops around. So we have kind of like that red, and I love the shimmer of the lame. It's probably my favorite go-to ribbon. So it's just handy to kind of make sure you put a loop in between each one, and then again pull your tails down. Let me show you what it looks like. Ta-da! And I'm going to go ahead and finish my pipe cleaner right here, just because I have it finished.
Yeah. You have to push on the edges on that side.
What? Push on what edges?
Just the outside edges on that side. Though.
I'm not worried about that just yet. But yeah. Okay. So I'm going to snip it and push it back down and into my hole.
Thanks for joining everybody back.
They're like, oh no. Yes, we came back. Of course we came back. Okay, time to embellish. So, you've got to look at it the way you're going to see it. And I kind of staggered my colors all the way down. I didn't try to hit every single one in every single row. Depending upon how many balls you have. And this is where Steve's saying you needed to pull and push ones to the outside. That's just something that I'll do at the very, very end, because you can pull your branches out to the side and give it more of a tree look. Okay, so these are the bulbs I bought. These are $5.99 at Hobby Lobby, and like I said, you can get them in a wide variety of different colors. These come with silver, the gold, they have silver shiny, silver dull, they have red shiny, red glitter, and then there's also a, let's see, there's also a silver, what I call flat. So you can just pull all these out. You're not going to need the ornament hangers, so we're going to hot glue ours in. Even comes with a star, so if you wanted to, you could put a star at the top. And this is where you can just start taking them and just placing them through your wreath. I'm trying to see how low did I go. I actually went to the second row, but not every one, like every other one.
Hi, Gail, turning back on.
What I have? Yes, I have 5. Okay, let's put a glitter one. All right, I'm just kind of using this one as an example, and then I came up and I did 3. So, kind of looking, it's like we have this layer. It's like I kind of staggered it right here. I did a zigzag. So I'm gonna go here, and we'll go here. We'll go up. Let's get rid of the shiny, these ones in. And then we'll add colors, right? It's all about the colors. Let's do this one. And then we'll bring it back up. So I just set them in place until I'm pretty content with where the layout of all the ornament balls are. As you get to the top, you'll have like more space. You can either go heavy on top or go light on top. And then you can see I have quite a bit left. So it's up to you if you want to use them all or not. Let's do red, the glitter. And now I can come back in and look and go, oh, hey, I can add, let's do the green in here. Or I'm actually content with the way that looks. Let me come up here.
Amy, yeah, I think we were just kind of having those broadcast issues. So she said, I made the candy corn using this triangle board. I just need to make the bow and we'll post pictures. Kat would love to see that. So
I really would. I love candy corn.
Post it when you can.
Okay, so like I said, there's plenty in here. I'm not going to use all of them. What I'll end up using it for, you never know. They'll go in another different design. Like I said, you can come in and put, you know, little packages in. If you want to vary that, you can do Christmas packages. There's some miniature ornaments that, you know, have little like teddy bears, little angels. You could drape garland through it if you want. Once I have this all done, I'm just going to go ahead now. Just want to make sure I don't burn myself with the glue. So I've got my silicone fingertips. And I'm just going to glue these right into place. So my glue gun is on. So I'm just going to glue right around the ornament top and then just tuck that into the Deco mesh. So kind of laying it out gives you the opportunity to kind of move different balls around if you want. If you don't want more red, less green. What questions do you guys have that I can answer for you while we're putting the glue on?
Debbie sent to Ben, said thank you for sharing this recipe tonight. Didn't know how to do it. Love.
Are you going to be making one, Debbie? I'm hoping. I can't wait to see what you guys post. I hope that if you do decide to make them, come back here once I post the main picture for this, and then share your designs. I'd love to see what you guys put together. I knew I had my other glue stick here. Okay. So I use Gorilla Glue on my glue sticks, and my glue gun, and my glue skillet, just because it's a pretty good all-weather glue. So it has a tendency of standing up to the heat. So if you happen to have a, I don't know, living out here in the desert, having those really super hot days.
Maybe ask, what are your thoughts on adding a tree stump? It's up to you. Yeah.
It just depends. Like for me, it's gonna add more down to the bottom. You know, you could put, I don't know how you would do it. You mean like a piece of wood?
Yeah, you could put a little piece of 1/8 inch or 1/4 inch wood to try it.
I'm just thinking size-wise for the box.
David said yes, is going shopping to Michael's.
Yay!
There's other places that have it too.
Yeah, but like I said, if you're just, you know, I think Michael's this weekend, I think they have a 25% off coupon, and I don't believe that the Unique in the Creek boards will be on sale. So you can use that, because it's usually, they give you a great coupon, but it has to be on something not on sale.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's awesome, Sandra. She just said my 9-year-old daughter is watching. She wants me to make one as well.
Oh, awesome. These would be fun, and let her decorate the tree. Of course, you'd have to glue all this stuff on.
And then Donetta, no problem. She says she's getting ready to make a burgundy burlap wreath for custom double doors.
That sounds really pretty. I hope you guys always come back and share your designs, because you guys have these great ideas, and I'm like, oh, I would so love to be able to see them.
Yeah, share your photos in the public group. Marie said, I've wanted to make one since last year, but didn't know where to start until I watched you tonight. Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm so glad. The glue's popping. I like the glittery ones over the
plain ones.
Yeah, they just sparkle better. So I'm just kind of tucking them in the little holes. I go all the way around, so it makes good contact inside when I push them in between the, I guess you'd call them branches, even though they're not really branches. But that's technically what we've made, is a branch. Okay, let me let that sit up before I pull it up, otherwise the green and the red ball will probably roll right off. Okay.
You gonna put any packages on it or no?
No. I just said you can put packages on. I just pulled those out because I had those there for embellishments. Okay, so battery pack. I'm gonna prop this up because I need to access the back. First, I'm gonna prep the battery pack. These ones, they're actually built smart. So where you add the batteries and where you turn the switch on, so let's say for example, it's probably gonna happen, they lose the remote, right? Now I'm stuck doing this. Okay, turn off. There we go. Everything is all on one side. Normally what I see is the covers on one side and the buttons on the other. So that makes it difficult to decide how to hang it. Here we're just gonna take it and flip it over. We're gonna take one of our adhesive
commercial
zip ties that you can get at Home Depot. Lowe's sells them too, but Home Depot sells them in a 100-pack for like $15. And I use them to secure my wreaths in my box, and then to do all these weird kind of things like this. Did I do it? Yes. Okay. So I'm just going to add a bead of glue along the edge, just so it won't pop off. think. Is your stuff back on? Okay. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna end up having to refluff my bow.
That's right.
I know, right? Let me get my pipe cleaner in. They're here.
And those commercial mounts is what she uses to put her wreaths in boxes and box her wreath up.
Yeah, because I tie them, I just put these down in the bottom of the box and then I can basically do this and secure the wreath into the box. Because we know delivery drivers, well, they tend to be careful. I know, I'm trying to. There we go. So this is gonna need to be fastened down here. So as you can see, I'm putting it right through my zip ties on the back, on the bottom, because I need this so that the customer can access it. And the best place to do it, like to turn something on and off, is just to lift the bottom. And I'm gonna push this back down once I tie it. And then we'll go ahead and zip tie my cord. I just wasn't sure how long my cord would be. In and down. And this will keep the cord in place. And if you want, I have these little rubbery things, so I'm gonna probably stick those on too.
Amy asked, how many bows did you use on your bow?
How many ribbons? I just used 2.
But how many bows total? It's 8?
2, yeah. There's 2 on each side, so a total of 4 on the red and then 4 on the plaid.
So 8 total.
Let me find.
That's the little light box that holds the batteries for the lights.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put one of these on. They're like little bumpers. So they're things when I don't want something to hit the back of a door. So I just kind of create something to where it's going to hit that part instead of the plastic piece.
Gotcha.
And you can get the little bumpers or little felt tips, Home Depot, Lowe's, you name it. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Let's take this one down and I'm going to set it over here. I'll put this one up to my hook. Now this is what Steve is saying, you need to pull the ones off to the side so you can. If you want it more rounded, you can pull your other pieces off to the side. Pull this back up, because of course I had to lay my bow down. But that's pretty much it.
George said the tree is beautiful. Julie said beautiful. Stella said beautiful.
There we go. Just like that. That's how you make them. So remember, we can always turn our lights on. I know it's going to be hard to tell, but they're on just now. Let me get to the white.
Yeah, you might not be able to see it just because of the angle on the lights.
I know,
When it's dark though, you can see it.
Go to the white.
Patty, we had a broadcast interruption, so the first part should already be on her public group
Okay, it's on white.
from the start.
So watch. If I kind of turn it up. And I know I told you not to do that. Ooh. Reach forward. You can kind of see there's like a blue light right there, but they're lit. If I turned them all off, then
You don't really see anything. You could
You
try it,
wouldn't
but
see
you're not going to see the light.
okay, watch. You might just see that. Oop. There we go.
Yeah, you're not gonna say anything.
There we go. But it's lit. So, yay. Oops. Okay. I'm a short person reaching for large lights out there. What questions do you guys have, if any, that I can answer for you?
That's so cute. Stormy said that's neat. Never knew how to use the board.
Now you know how.
Now you know how. Yep, Audrey, thank you. She said another great Friday Night Live. You always make us feel blessed.
Thank you.
Share your talents. Thank you, Audrey.
Okay.
Amy said, I love the mesh you use. Yeah, that really looks like a good Christmas green.
Right, so this is what it looks like. Like, I just used a whole bunch of open rolls that I had, and then one full roll, so that's about what I have left. So, if you guys are interested in my private group, it's closing in 5 days to open enrollment, so that we can focus just on designs and answering any questions you have to get your shop open and ready, or craft fairs open and ready, anything I can do to help. If you're interested in joining, it's $17 a month. You can go to KatsCreationsNMore.com, scroll all the way to the bottom, click where it'll say, it starts to give you a description of everything that's in there, and it says see more. It's a little hyperlink. Click that. It gives you all the benefits of what you get. Plus you can sign up for the recurring payment there, and then you'll go back out and then sign up for the Kats Creations private group page, and then you'll be in. We meet every Sunday and Monday. Sundays at 3 Pacific, and Mondays at 5. And then this Sunday we're making a snowman wreath, and then I don't know what I'm going to do for Mondays yet. I have to pull some old design ideas I have and see if I have all the materials to put it together. But for sure, Sunday is the snowman wreath using the snowman kit you can get from, who sells it? Craft Outlet, the Wreath Shop. You might be able to find them on Amazon. So we're gonna make one big fluffy snowman with whatever you call them, the little tinsel balls. So look forward to making that with private group people. Don't know what I'm going to be making for our next week Friday. It's going to be geared around Christmas. I'm really looking forward to teaching you guys how to use the, what are they? They're like a wax candle. I don't know if you guys saw it. I'll show the picture in it. We might do that next week, and I'll teach you guys how to use the it's like a Christmas candle wreath. So it actually has a battery operated candle in it to kind of give you the illusion that there's a lit candle in the center of the wreath. And I think we're going to do that on a grapevine. So look forward to seeing you guys next week, Friday. Private group people, I'll see you on Sunday. Have a great weekend, everyone, and thanks for joining us again. Bye-bye.